morning, guys. Mark Angelo here. Let's see if I can get the right lighting here. Dark. Let's see if I can go back on the floor. Bear with me a second here. Anyway, hope all is well with all of you. It's my baby girl's, or should I say my old lady's birthday today. She turns 50. We'll be having a show tonight. We're going to be heading out for her birthday meal. Although we went out this weekend for a birthday meal, and then we'll be having some more birthday meals. Let me tell you, ever since we stopped this carnivore diet, it's like really thrown us, or at least me, for a loop. I don't like to speak for anyone but myself. When you deprive yourself of carbs, then it's like, diminishing returns. Things just kind of go wacky in your body. And rightfully so. The body's set up with systems that are meant for survival. If you don't have food for a length period of time and you end up coming across food, the body hoards the food that it's eating and it turns it into fat, and it provides this massive appetite so that you could eat a lot in case there's another deprivation mode. People don't realize the power of food and what food can do for you or do against you. This is why we have such an epidemic of obesity. This is why we have such an epidemic of mental disorders. And this is why we have what we have in the world today. It is what it is. It's not pretty at all. We see that there are industries out there that profit from our sickness and just want to make us consumers. I mean, we see it from a very young age, from our cartoons and all the advertisements, and pretty much trying to make kids into addicts in many different ways, whether it's addicted to shopping, whether it's addicted to food, whether it's addicted to alcohol. And I know kids aren't addicted to alcohol, but sugar is alcohol, and or alcohol is sugar. And it's just a vicious cycle that people get into and lose total control. Then we have each other to blame because we're like sheeples, and when one sheeple goes away from what the hive mind creates, they shame one another. It's like yesterday we were watching Dr. What's that guy's name again? Doctor who appeared in the show The Doctors, Salamino or something like that.
Yeah, Paul Salamino.
He's a physician, and he's really gotten into nutrition, which a lot of physicians end up doing because they don't really give them that great training on that. It's up to them to be able to educate themselves further. And so they were shaming him on the show because he's pushing the carnivore diet. Now, do I think the carnivore diet is the answer for everything? No, I don't think it's the answer for everything, but it has a lot of good points, and it does help a lot of people. I think that as individuals, we each have to find what fits us and what actually harms us and hurts us, and then learn how to balance things out. When we go to extremes from one type of diet to another, it really throws your metabolism off, it throws your psyche off, it throws everything off, and you end up, with bigger problems. But anyway, I digress. They were making fun of him, and they do this in a way of gathering the sheeple, to alter people's way of thinking. And this is how it's done throughout the media, throughout everything that you watch on TV. They make people that try to stray away from the pack look like they're idiots. And if you don't follow the status quo, you are wrong and you are shamed and so forth and so on, which is pretty sad. I think that people have lost their way on their own thinking. They become easily programmed, would be the word. And I have fallen into that myself. I'm not I'm not above any of that. I mean, it's easy to be able to fall prey on programming and fall off the wagon on the course of action that you set your mind to after years of falling off the wagon, after years of dealing with eating disorders, after years of dealing with things, and you try to like really remove that child from your thinking. Because we all have this child brain that likes to pop in and makes you feel like, you're being deprived and you deserve to eat things and it's special occasions and this, that, and the other. And before you know it, you're going to end up being a fat slob because that's how it happens. Do you think that people that are overweight, you know, how did you think it happened to them? It starts by one bite at a time. It starts by binge eating one day and then doing it again and then doing it again. And before you know it, you've messed up your metabolism. You've messed up your entire focus of what you're trying to do. So you've got to keep that child mind tamed because that child will get you in trouble every single time. When that child starts to like throw its tantrums in your head and it tries to justify everything that it does, it'll win. Because we all know how children are, and when they get that temper tantrum and the parent just doesn't want to be embarrassed so they give in, it's kind of the same thing. The child always wins unless you keep that child tamed. So, it's important to have a plan. It's important to follow, your adult mind and realize that food is a drug and it can be very deadly and very lethal in many ways. Not just gaining weight. That's just one of the side effects. But we got to look at diseases that food causes. I mean, we got cancer that is just like running rapid throughout the world. Everyone's either getting breast cancer, lung cancer, you name it. You think it's just like magically appearing? No, it's what people are putting in their bodies. And not just food, but also stressors. There's a lot of stress, and people don't know how to handle stress. They have the coping skills of a grape. So it's important for us to work on our adult skills. Adulting is important. We need to keep that subconscious really working towards our favor, not sabotaging your every move, because we can do that very easily. We sabotage ourselves all the time. So one other note or topic that I wanted to touch, I find it very, very amusing that every year there's a Super Bowl and every year they have to criticize the halftime show. I mean, not looking at the whole picture that here we have these grown men making tons of money, okay, being violent, promoting violence, putting their lives in danger, and promoting aggression. We don't criticize that, right? We criticize the halftime show, the entertainment, the part that's light, the part that's supposed to like, okay, let's have a little lightness here from all this competition because, this is what humans do. They love to compete against one another. I'm better than you, you're better than me, so forth and so on. And if I'm going to take that ball away from you and, all this aggression. And the halftime show is supposed to be entertaining. Why is it that certain groups of people, religious group of people, and I'm not going to mention and pick on a particular group, but you know who I'm talking about, they get all bent out of shape about human sexuality, human expressing, showing their rhythm, their ability to move their bodies. Women have been showing their bodies for a very long time, even back in the old days when there was men had 5, 6, 7 wives and they all danced around him and they did the belly dancing and they did all that stuff. And we tend to forget that we have always been that barbaric sexual species. For crying out loud, we're animals, right? Are we not? We have animalistic instincts that these religious groups just want to like bottle up and like push down. We're sexual. We're sensual. Women like to show their stuff. Men, we like to see it. Is there something wrong with that? Why do we have to always make everything a negative? Why is it that it's always these overweight religious women that are pissed off because their husbands get to look at beautiful Latin women moving their booty? It was a beautiful show, showcased my Latin culture. It was well done. Why is there such a big hoopla about it? I'll tell you why. Because the overweight people are envious. Because there was a lot of Latin in that half show, and we still have not realized this United States of America. It's a melting pot. The United States of America is not about white Anglo-Saxon people only. There's diversity. There's many different nationalities that share this land that once belonged to the natives, indigenous people, that the Europeans came, slaughtered, and took away their land. So let's just stop going round and round in circles and pretending that we're holier than thou. Because that holier than thou drove swords and cut throats and pushed religious beliefs on people that have their own belief systems. Alright guys, enough of my little on the soapbox rant for the morning. See you guys this evening. We've got a special guest, Riley Grace. Tune in tonight, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Catch you all on the flip side. Love you, but remember to always love yourselves too. Bye-bye.